Part 2. Trap Lord Ross, the mini bodies of Lil Durk. We last left off right before the FBG Duck situation. Alright, so we good. It's all good. Bet. Bet.
Before King Von's untimely passing, his rap career was rising rapidly. After the success of Crazy Story, he continued to drop bangers. In February 2020, he released perhaps my favourite song of his, Took Her to the O, a song all about taking an attractive female back to him.
Took Her to the O might be Von's best song to me. I ain't gonna cap. That song was tough. And I like Ride. Ride was cool too.
His hood, O Block. However, the music video and narrative for this song had a dark hidden meaning, as Von was somebody who not only allegedly killed people in the gang war, but he was also a relentless troll who thrived on beef. In the video, he would have an actor that actually looked like one of his most hated rivals, FBG Duck, and the video would even depict Von shooting Duck and leaving him dead on the ground. However, this was more than just a fantasy video prodding his rival, because within 6 months of that video that depicted Duck shot dead on the ground being released, it would seem that Von and his closest friends conspired to make that happen in real life, with events unfolding that put all of the surviving shooters behind bars for good, and potentially creating a multi-million-dollar liability for Lil Durk. As everyone following the drill scene likely knows by now, FBG Duck's murder was allegedly part of a long-running beef between two gang sets from the south side of Chicago. Duck's set, STLEBT, sometimes referred to as 63rd or Tuckerville, largely identify as gangster disciples. On the other side is O Block, who are primarily black disciples, this being the set where the majority of Duck's convicted killers hail from. A deadly feud between these two factions, who exist just a stone's throw away from each other, stretches back more than a decade, particularly throughout the 2010s, when this feud would claim the lives of many young men in the area, with Redditors speculating that at least—
Hold on, the territory that the GDs had was way more than what O Block had. That's crazy. I always thought O Block had way more territories than they had. But then again, the GDs, everybody in the city had ops, was ops with the GDs. Said Ryder Demon. Your Demon was hard. RP Von, man. Von and Duck, bro. I'm starting to get into UFC. I watch it every now and then, but I am starting to get into it. Man.
Throughout the 2010s, when this feud would claim the lives
of like J-Man
many young men in the area, with Redditors speculating that at least 10 people lost their lives in this deadly beef. But to understand exactly how Lil Durk became part of this beef, we have to go all the way back to the beginning. Some of the first mentions online about the beef between STLEBT and O Block, or Wick City as it was known then, date all the way back to the early 2010s, although likely the beef had already started in the late 2000s. However, as already alluded to earlier, this war was never just between these two sets, but rather between numerous gang sets whose affiliations and rivalries were commonly based on their overarching gang identities, these being the Gangster Disciples and the Black Disciples, or the GDs versus the BDs, with sets like O Block, Lamron, 600, Front Street, and TYMB being clicked up on the BD side, while sets like STL, EBT, Gyro City, Taekwon World, MOB, and Brick Squad would form an alliance on the GD.
Oh, they actually, the GDs actually, bro, they actually was like really linked. I ain't gonna cap. I always thought, because, you know, of course, Obli, Lamron, 600, all them, but I'm thinking there's more people against the GDs than, you know, fucking teaming with them type shit, but they got their own squad.
D side. When it comes to the specific affiliation between O Block and Lamron, the prosecutors in the criminal case against FBG Duck's alleged killers would claim that this began in the early 2010s, as testified by one of the cooperators in the case. However, while the rivalry technically existed between all the sets from the two sides, the BDs and the GDs, it was often determined by proximity to other sets. Therefore, the beefs between certain sets were much more fierce than other beefs. Looking at these different sets on the map, it's no surprise then that the beef between sets like O Block, Front Street, and 600 and TYMB on one side, and STL, EBT, Gyro City, Taekwon World, and MOB on the other side was particularly fierce, as most of these sets were located only a few blocks away from each other. Meanwhile, Durk's set was located in Englewood, which is on the other side of the I-90 and I-94 highways. While technically only about 1.5 miles away from places like O Block, it was still worlds apart from the Woodlawn and Washington Park neighborhoods where the aforementioned sets were having their beef. And because of this distance, Lamron wasn't really in an active war against sets like Duck's STL EBT, as they were largely consumed by their own local rivalries in Englewood with sets like the Brick Squad. In fact, in March 2011, Lil Durk would feature in the song We Ball, which also featured members of the rap group Buck 20 Brick Boys. One of these members being the rapper Billionaire Black, who's even pictured around Lil Durk at
Hold on, Billy and Durk, they used to be cool? Billy and Durk used to be cool? Dog, what? I ain't even expect that one.
Buck 20 Brick Boys, one of these members being the rapper Billionaire Black, who was even pictured around Lil Durk at this time. However, Billionaire Black was at this point already heavily affiliated with rival sets like STL, EBT, and Jaro City, and only 2 months later, Billionaire Black would make the song E-Day Is You Serious, together with none other than FBG Duck himself, this song being a diss towards the rapper E-Day from the 600 set, who on the other hand, was already at this point clicked up with Durk's Lamron crew, rapping in his song What Up from April 2011, how he's throwing up L's for Lamron with Durk's good friend Chief Wook. After this debacle, it seems that Durk and the rest of Lamron would quickly make their affiliation with the BD side known, and even get somewhat involved in the rivalry against the GDs in Woodlawn and the Washington Park neighborhoods. Because as mentioned earlier, later that same year in October, Lil Durk would get arrested together with Lil Reese due to an investigative alert, which was allegedly due to a shooting that had happened in late August 2011 where 4 teens had gotten shot in Woodlawn, with one of these allegedly being FBG Butter, a member of STL EBT and a good friend of Duck. FBG Butter would be a big part of this early beef, particularly between STL EBT and O-Block. He would tell DJ Vlad in an interview about the juvenile origins of this beef, revealing that King Von actually threw his hat in the mud as a kid, and that years later he'd actually beaten up Von on the bus after school, which apparently caused Von to become very vengeful.
When we was shorties, through my church, the legend had it in the mud down in the basement in the back of his mama's house. I threw my downstairs in the basement to the mud. I'll beat his then too. One of the guys at school, I guess they was in that shooting ice or whatever. Folks who he got into it with was too big for him. And folks just told him like, wait till we get out of school, I'm gonna have my little homie scratch you out. Talking crazy, not knowing who his little homie is. So when I came on the bus, folks like, man, whoop him, Butter. I'm like, man, Butter, tweaking, but Broski said whoop you, so I had to whoop him.
There are also some more serious.
Told y'all the part 1. I heard Butter had hands, bro. Regardless of, the chopped cheese or whatever, man, Butter had hands for real.
Examples from these early days where Lamron allegedly became directly involved in the rivalry against STL EBT. For example, when in 2011, a young man affiliated with STL EBT named Dale Fisher was gunned down in Woodlawn. Some of Dale's friends would seemingly blame Lamron for this murder, and similarly, when a member of STL EBT called Doc, real name Marlon Monroe, was gunned down in Woodlawn in April 2012, the police would state in their investigative report that people close to Doc held Lamron as one of the parties responsible for his death on social media, and as I covered in my video about King Von, there's evidence to suggest that Von himself may well have pulled the trigger during both of these murders. Or, if you're to believe FBG Butter, also known as Cooperator 3 during Duck's murder trial, Dale may have also been killed by Von's best friend T-Roy, together with another infamous shooter D Rose from the set 600. But in any case, April 2012 is when FBG Duck himself would aim his perhaps first musical diss towards Duck's Lamron crew, dropping his song I'm St. Lawrence.
Bro, this Soulja Boy. I remember Soulja Boy was actually really intertwined with the Chicago drill in the early days, bro. He was one of the first niggas, and I think niggas took his chain. I think Ball Out took Soulja Boy chain. I don't know. Buddy was beating shit, bro.
Would aim his perhaps first musical diss towards Durk's Lamron crew, dropping his song I'm St. Lawrence, also known as Chief Keef and Soulja Boy diss. The song is a remix of Chief Keef's 300 song, with 300 also being a number that was originally repped particularly by Durk's Lamron set and people affiliated with it. Duck begins the song by saying that it's F O-Block and F Lamron, which is a direct response to Keef's line in the original 300 song dissing Duck's dead friend Tuka from STL EBT. About a month earlier, Durk had also released his hit song L's Anthem, which was also repping the 300 moniker, whilst also dissing Lamron's biggest rivals, the Brick Squad. As a response to Durk's dissing, the rapper Lil Jojo from Brick Squad would release his song BDK in April, aimed particularly...
Okay, I put Don't Like, of course, BDK, L's Anthem, Lil J, Oh So Arrogant, I can't think of a fifth one, but when I talk about just like the foundational songs of drill, bro, those 4 are definitely in conversation, because those was movements, man.
The rapper Lil Jojo from Brick Squad would release his song BDK in April, aimed particularly at Durk and Lamron. However, the chorus of the song would go much further than that.
Facts. I was in 12th grade when that shit started, when Chief Keef and all them started coming up, bro. I was in 12th grade, and we only was like an hour from Chicago, hour and some change from Chicago and Milwaukee, and it was, man, I'm telling you, everybody in school talking BDK, GDK, shit like that, man. It was crazy. That was a crazy time, man. I ain't gonna cap. I was listening to like JoJo, P. Rico, Mister. I was listening to them a little more than I was listening to Chief Keef and them. I had Lil Reese. Lil Reese Us was that was hard at that time too. But yeah, that shit, bro, that was a time. So I was 9. Damn, y'all was little.
Dissing all of the Black Disciple sets in Chicago, as JoJo would announce that he and his set are BDK, or Black Disciple Killers. All of this was happening at a moment when the drill music movement was blowing up way past the borders of Chicago to worldwide notoriety, all with the help of Chief Keef. And with the possibilities of fame and fortune at the fingertips of every driller and drill rapper, this created the perfect conditions for the gang war between the BD and GD factions to escalate. And soon, FBG Duck would join in on the BD killer movement too, tweeting the same sentiment. And from there, Duck and STL-EBT would get heavily affiliated with JoJo and Brick Squad, with Brick Squad and STL-EBT, and particularly JoJo and Duck, then becoming the biggest faces of the GD side within the drill scene. Together with guys like Lil J, who was focusing heavily...
Critical. Bro, this shit was hard too. I don't think enough people talk about Critical from Lil J.
on dissing Chief Keef and O-Block in his music, but unfortunately, in early September 2012, Lil Jojo would be gunned down in Brick Squad's neighborhood, becoming the first highly publicized example of how beefs in this new musical genre of drill could lead to real-life deaths in the streets. Jojo's murder would go unsolved, and it would do little to steer guys like Duck away from dissing the BD side in music or on social media. In fact, it would only incite more dissing, with Duck tweeting after Jojo's death that he would be continuing the BDK legacy in his memory. One person
It's crazy that they never found out who was the one that took JoJo out. That's wild. That still to this day, we like 13 years later, almost 13 years later, they still ain't found out who it was.
BD side who Duck would go back and forth with on social media was none other than King Von, with one time even Von's own sister Kayla B getting involved in their beef and taking the GD side in tweets seeming to back Duck up. Every now and then, Duck's dissing would also be aimed at Lil Durk personally, like in September 2013 when he would call Durk a fake gangster on Twitter, as well as dissing J Money, one of Durk's close friends from O-Block who was killed in 2013, allegedly by a member of STL-EBT called Lil B. Durk would seemingly respond the next month in October when he would drop his classic drill song Competition featuring Lil Reese, where he would call Duck Lil Duck and rap how that he can't duck Durk's gun. Later that month, Duck's friend Lil J, who Durk had also dissed, would drop his response to the song titled Competition Domination, where he would call Durk an actor and tell how he was going to put him under the dirt. Duck would also continue throwing little jabs at Durk on social media, like in October 2014, some months after Durk's beloved cousin Nooski had been killed, when Duck would take to Twitter just to announce that he was smoking on Nooski. Durk would seemingly respond to these jabs in December 2014 when he would feature on the remix for E-Day's song War. This was perhaps Durk's most brazen diss so far, as he would begin his verse by saying how he's considered to be the one who initially sparked the GD versus BD war. This being a reference to how Lil Jojo had seemingly created the BDK song as a direct response to Lil Durk's L's Anthem song. Durk would then up the ante and diss numerous people and sets from the GD side of the war, including Duck's STL-EBT set, and two of his close friends who had been killed in the war, Tuka and KI. A few years would pass, but in 2016, Duck would continue dissing on the music side, as he would release his mixtape, This How I'm Coming, which would begin with an intro song where Duck would once again diss Durk's cousin, Nooski. In 2017, the war between the BDs and the GDs would intensify considerably after one of O-Block's most beloved members, the best friend of King Von, T-Roy, would be gunned down inside of a corner store, and the people responsible for T-Roy's murder were allegedly TB or Terry Barry from Taekwon World and Can't Get Right aka Get Right or Man Man from STL-EBT, who would be seen posing for a picture in the exact same clothing from the surveillance footage of the murder earlier that month, while one of...
Bro, he kept the same jacket on from the hit, bro. That is crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, I was for sure listening to both sides too. I was just more so listening to more of the GD rappers. I don't know, it was something about their songs and like the underdog shit for real. It said it was the 7-foot nigga. Well, I think that was his name. He hung with Von. Oh, for JoJo. Damn. Nigga 7 feet tall out there drilling shit, bro. You better pick up a fucking ball. Damn. So
posing for a picture in the exact
same... Can't Get Right, man. I think he got killed, what was it, like a few years ago? I remember seeing something about him. To Lil Mr. E goes hard. Facts. Lil Mr. was tough, bro.
Clothing from the surveillance footage of the murder earlier that month, while one of the people in the photo would be none other than FBG Duck himself. Duck would also go live on Instagram shortly after T-Roy's murder, where his brother Brick can be heard talking about the murder before Duck cuts him off and makes some very disrespectful statements.
Yeah, look on them on here going crazy. They so happy. It been funny as hell, bro. I know folks know. Proud. They got him out the way. I know. I'm on live, G. Shut the
I know folks in them proud they got him out the way. Nigga, I am on Instagram live. Like, damn, I thought bro was about to drop a name. I'm like, case is solved, man. Damn. Damn.
I'm on live, G. Shut the up. Before you even get it, it just came on. But still, this Instagram, it deleted instantly, G. It just came on. But damn, G, don't stop. Damn, merchant, they pop T-Roy. It must don't be, it must ain't that important. It ain't all over the internet. I ain't see it.
T-Roy's death would cause a chain reaction of revenge killings, where O-Block and 600 would team up to create what they called the Get Back Gang, a group of killers hell-bent on avenging or getting back for T-Roy, with numerous people losing their lives during this period, including Duck's very own brother FBG Brick, who was gunned down in a brutal double murder. But all of this wouldn't seem to scare Duck, who would keep dissing his enemies in his music, like the song Smoke that he would release with Chirac's official peace pusher, FYB J-Mane, who at the time was still in his overwhooping era dissing all the ops. J-Mane would rap incredibly disrespectful bars, like how he was smoking on Durk's good friends, the late rapper L.A. Capone, and the O-Block member J Money, or Durk's manager Chino, and in his verse, Duck too would join in the smokeathon of Durk's friends, before all—
I ain't gonna lie, I mean, I know niggas mature now, you know, they pushing peace, trying to collab a little more now, bro. But how the fuck did J-Mane make it out alive out of Chicago? Like, he was probably talking the craziest out of everybody. A lot of his old shit, J-Mane was talking the craziest out of everybody. For sure, I'm gonna check that out. I'm gonna check it out later, bro. But dog, J-Mane was talking crazy,
Money,
man.
or Durk's manager Chino, and in his verse, Duck too would join in the smokeathon of Durk's friends, before also rapping how he was going to slide to Durk's hood in Lamron, aka 64th and Normal, and shoot it up. But talking about sliding, while he didn't quite know it yet at the time, Duck was on the cusp of his big breakthrough, as he would release the second installment of his This Is How I'm Coming mixtape series, which would include the hit song Slide. After the release of the music video for the song in January 2018, the track would go viral, taking Duck's career to the next level, as he would suddenly become a nationwide drill star, arguably for the first time in his career, actually reaching fans outside of the drill niche. He would get noticed by major hip-hop publications like XXL magazine, and the song would even lead to Duck signing his first ever record deal, and getting a major co-sign by the Atlanta rapper 21 Savage, who hopped on the remix. 21.
Bro, Slide, that song was hard as a motherfucker, bro. And I heard Duck got, I think he got 2 million. I think it was from Sony. They signed him for like 2 mil, I heard. But yeah, then 21 Savage, see, at this point, this was before 21 Savage was on like, I'm gonna pick sides type shit. Salute 21, but you know, at this point I was like, oh shit, you got niggas from the industry really fucking with Duck. Damn. Yeah, I need to start doing the throwback shit again. I need to. It's a lot of shit I need to start doing again.
Ever record deal, and getting a major co-sign by the Atlanta rapper 21 Savage, who hopped on the remix. 21, who had previously done music with Lil Durk and moving in the same circles of rappers living in Atlanta, was seemingly unaware about the long-running tension between Duck and Durk. He must not have even realized that some fans were suggesting that the entire Slide song was actually a huge diss towards OTF. But anyway, during 2018, this was also the year when Durk was making a comeback musically with the help of his new street prodigy, King Von, whose beef with Duck was much more personal due to the years-running war between O-Block and the GD sets of Woodlawn, such as Duck's STL EBT set, with Von himself rumored to have been behind the murders of several people affiliated with Duck's set. Therefore, it was no surprise then that since Von's first hit song, the December 2018 release track Crazy Story, he would often aim disses directly at STL EBT, even creating the popular catchphrase dissing that neighborhood, saying "We not from 63rd," and even going as far as to create numerous pieces of merch so fans could also express their dislike of Duck's block. Duck would seemingly respond to Von in a scathing diss track together with another GD rapper and his own cousin, Ruger, who would ultimately make his own nationwide breakthrough a few years later with his track GD Anthem. But back then, it would be this song, a remix of King Von and Mimo 600's track, Exposing Me, that would include disrespectful mentions of numerous dead members from the BD side of the war, with the track remaining to be one of the most brutal diss songs released in this entire feud. A few months later, Durk would let it be known that he too was joining Von's crusade against Duck and his set, as Von and Durk would release Crazy Story Part 2, which ends
this shit was really like a tag team match. Duck and Ruger versus Durk and Von, bro. That shit was crazy.
Durk repeating how they're lurking in 63rd, looking to catch their enemies. However, at the end of 2019, something surprising would take place, as Duck would release his song Chicago Legends, where he would pay tribute to many fallen rappers from Chicago, one of these being Durk's cousin Newski, whom Duck had dissed in the past several times. It's hard to say exactly what Duck's motives were. On the one hand, he could have been purely trying to push peace, but on the other, perhaps he was simply just trying to create a song that he knew would get some attention in the media. But one thing was clear, Von was certainly not interested in pushing peace, and only a few months later, he would release his song Took Her to the O. To a mainstream listener, the song seemed like a rather standard trap club song, with Von's
got some
trademark
top.
storytelling style playing a major role, but to drill fans, the song was a dedicated diss track, where Von would essentially lay out a story where he runs into Duck as Von is courting the same.
Picked it up. This so slow as fuck. Now it's called 3 of them from mom. The other sis say Duck. I look up. Damn, bro. Damn. Favorite Young Pappy song, bro. Pappy was so hard. Let me look on my library. Damn. Young Pappy, bro. Damn, let me look on my library, bro. I got so much of his shit. I'm gonna be a little cliche. I'm gonna say Killer. Killer probably the best one. Bro, Von was talking so crazy on that song, bro.
Same girl. This encounter would ultimately end in Von killing Duck and taking that girl. The song would also include disses towards Duck that only the most dedicated Chiracologists would likely know, like Von making a funny but disrespectful wordplay about Duck picking up a brick and merching it, or swearing in the name of his brother Brick, who had been killed in 2017. Took Her to the O was a smash hit, which now has over 300 million views on YouTube alone, and after the song's release, it was clear that Duck would have to make a stern response. His response would come only about a week later, releasing the track I'm From 63rd. Interestingly, while the song as a whole was a direct response to Von and his favorite catchphrase, it was actually Durk who Duck would address by name, essentially little boying Von, making it seem as if it was the big dog Durk who had sent Von to diss him on his behalf, as well as acknowledging how Durk and Duck had been going back and forth on wax long before Von had even picked up a microphone. But Duck wasn't done with the dissing, and it was his next diss song which would be one of his most disrespectful ones yet, and unfortunately also his last song, the infamous track Dead. Duck would begin the song by immediately announcing that the Chicago Legends track was nothing but business, before going straight back to dissing dead people from the BD side. Duck would also acknowledge Von mentioning his brother Brick in the song Took Her to the O, saying that Brick...
Do y'all think if Duck never came out with this song, that he would have never got killed, or do y'all feel like it was inevitable? Do y'all think it was inevitable that it was gonna happen? Damn. Like, I feel like this song was like kind of like the final straw type shit. Cause Duck been in Chicago, moved around Chicago, all the dissing that happened between both sides, and this was the one that like kind of decided it. And it wasn't too far after this song was released either. So it was gonna happen regardless. Yeah, I heard somebody was in the store and they like made a call or something like that to somebody. They made the call. It was like, yo, Duck is in here. But you can't, I don't know. I just feel like all these years, bro, that's damn near a decade. And y'all couldn't ever catch him in public. Y'all, like, Chicago's a big city, but y'all mean to tell me yo op lives across the street and that's the first time in 10 years that you was able to really catch him?
Slinging dope when Von was still doing kid stuff like swimming and fishing, before dropping some more highly disrespectful bars about dead members from sets like 600 and O Block. Unfortunately, the rest is history. Dead certainly increased the size of the target on Duck's back, but regardless at this point, he was the most high-profile GD rapper from 63rd and probably the biggest trophy in the streets for his ops. Sadly, in August 2020, about a month after releasing that song, Duck would end up getting brutally gunned down by members and affiliates of O Block in a brazen, broad daylight attack in Chicago's most upscale shopping district, located in the Gold Coast neighborhood, right in front of the Dolce & Gabbana store. Now, if you want to see a deep dive all into the details of the murder of FBG Duck and the aftermath, you can go and check out my 2.5-hour video just on that topic. But for the purpose of this video, let's keep things brief and focused on Durk's connection to the crime. Because right after Duck's murder, Durk would once again be caught right in the middle of an Instagram live when fans would begin to barrage him with comments about Duck's passing, with Durk acting like nothing had ever happened, showing himself hopping off a private jet in good spirits while completely
this was completely calculated. I remember this live on the jet, you know, he rapping, he happy. And I'm like, man, this is probably something you shouldn't do. I get it, you know, because, you know, Duck probably would have done the same thing had this happened the other way around. But this was very, very intentional, bro. Very intentional. No, that Pappy song tough. Yeah, Duck said Durk gonna sacrifice me. I remember that from the I'm from 63rd. The Durk always on Instagram live when his ops get killed. I think what was the day when FBG Cash, I think he was at the game or something. He went to the game that night. Yeah, they moving crazy, bro. Man.
Durk acting like nothing had ever happened, showing himself hopping off a private jet in good spirits while completely ignoring the imploring messages about the death of his biggest enemy.
Fans make a plan, watch the score in the mail. 39 years I heard them crying to sell. Boy, getting money right up.
Oh, they know what they doing, bro. They know what they doing.
On my block, they think I'm back in the
Bill.
Von, on the other hand, would come out with the most unconvincing statement, trolling the whole world, saying how the two had settled their differences right before Duck's passing, even adding sarcastic lines about how he was going to be thinking of Duck every step of the way, and also making snide remarks about how Duck had been dissing his dead friends and family members. Meanwhile, as time went on, the feds would get involved in Duck's...
Fine.
Cap.
Me and Duck settled our differences right before he passed.
Cap.
We was talking about bringing everybody together as a whole and changing the community for the better.
Cap.
I'ma still stand on that shit. Every step of the way, I'm gonna be thinking of you.
Cap.
Even though you diss my dead homies and family.
Cap.
Von, come on, bro. Ain't nobody, bro, Von old tweets is crazy, bro. I'm saying nobody believed this. I was kind of surprised when I seen it. I'm like, bro, come on, man. Come on. Ah, man.
About how Duck had been dissing his dead friends and family members. Meanwhile, as time went on, the feds...
Yeah, that's that takeoff cap, man. Gotta hit him with that.
Cap.
Damn.
would get involved in Duck's murder investigation and track down the entire route that the killers had taken to the murder scene, tracing their origin back all the way to O-Block, with surveillance footage literally filming the entire crime, with them driving from O-Block to the murder, committing it, and then driving back again. However, even with all of this evidence, it would be over a year before the feds would even be able to move in with their indictment. But eventually, in September 2021, the feds would indict 5 people for the murder of Duck: Charles Liggins, aka C Murder, Kenneth Robertson, aka Kenny Mack, Carlos Offord, aka Los, Christopher Thomas, aka C-Thang, and Marcus Smart, aka Muwop, as well as another man, Ralph Turpin, aka Teasy, who had been the person that spotted Duck and gave up his location. With such a clear trail left behind by the so-called O-Block 6, also known as the Sloppy 6.
So Ralph Turpin was he just so happened to be shopping that day and just came across Duck? Damn.
It was inevitable that they would also eventually be found guilty, and all 6 are ultimately facing mandatory life sentences, while a 7th person associated with the murder, Zell Munna from O-Block, would sadly end up taking his own life before the FBI could indict him. However, during and after the trial, the discussion would also focus on the possible culpability of Von and Lil Durk in Duck's murder, particularly as the prosecution's legal documents would claim that Turpin, aka Teasy, had allegedly called someone after he spotted Duck in the shopping district, asking around to get put in contact with Lil Durk's brother and manager, D-Thang, who was coincidentally no longer alive by the time these arrests took place. The indictment would also mention a person named as Individual E, who pretty clearly appears to be Lil Durk, being listed as a high-ranking member of the BDs, with these details suggesting that even the FBI wasn't ruling out the possibility of Lil Durk's personal involvement in the hit on FBG Duck, but avoiding naming him specifically. In fact,
they never convicted the O-Block 5 or 6. Like this is still like currently ongoing. I wonder if they're gonna try to somehow bring this back to Durk, if they have anything concrete, because they already, saying certain things about Durk as it is in Chicago. They haven't formally charged him with anything. But damn. Oh, that was Ike Munna's homeboy, Zell. Yeah, they still on. Yeah, I had a feeling it was still on trial. Damn.
On these documents, some YouTubers would even claim that D-Thang would have been indicted too if he hadn't been killed in June 2021. Furthermore, it would be revealed—
But how would D-Thang always took me as somebody who, like, I think he owned like a club. Like, he was kind of out the way for real. I didn't think he was like in that shit like that.
There had allegedly been up to a $100,000 bounty placed on Duck's head leading up to the murder, with many pointing out to a vlog filmed in O-Block a couple months before the murder took place that showed Von giving out wads of cash to other members as potential proof of this bounty being handed down. Furthermore, the person placing this bounty allegedly being someone who bought custom-made chains for O-Block members. Indeed, the Fed's investigation would also focus on the so-called O-Block chains that King Von had actually purchased for many members of his set both before and after Duck's murder, with many of the alleged killers of Duck also receiving one, as Von would apparently spend over $100,000 to buy altogether 16 O-Block chains. The timing of these purchases and the distribution of the chains to prominent members of O-Block, including the alleged killers, appeared to symbolize loyalty and respect within the gang's ranks, as well as possibly being a reward for a job well done with regards to the Duck murder. For example, Muwop could be seen with Von at the jewelry store shopping for additional O-Block chains a mere 6 days after the murder, while others users like C Murder could also be seen posing with the chain on his social media just a few days after the murder. Interestingly, also Lil Durk himself seemingly received one of these chains, while Boss Top was alleged to be one of the leaders of O-Block alongside Von during the trial, with Top actually describing the chain as a hood trophy. But wearing the O-Block chain was by no means Lil Durk's only connection to Duck's murder, because in the years following Duck's passing, Lil Durk would diss FBG Duck several times in his music. For example, in his December 2020 song Redman, Durk would mention how he knows someone who died with a famous name, but his friends still haven't slid for him. This possibly being a reference to the fact that FBG Duck's set, STL-EBT, aka Tucaville, would seemingly not retaliate following his murder, with apparent posts circulating suggesting that Duck's people were frustrated that nobody actually got revenge for him. However, the more clear-cut disses towards FBG Duck would start in early 2021, as Lil Durk would release the brutal...
Bro, they deleted this song, didn't they? The Shoulda Ducked? I think they took this song off of YouTube. I thought Von gave out the 100K before. He did. I'm pretty sure he did, because that was something that they were saying about Von way before. That every time he went back to Chicago, he was giving out 100K. Like, he was splitting it to everybody in O-Block. This shit dropped right at designer stores. It's crazy, bro. Crazy.
named song Should Have Ducked, together with Memphis rapper Pooh Shiesty, where Lil Durk raps how he gets so high, he gets high as Duck, a reference to Duck being dead and in heaven. As Duck's mother, Lashina Weekly, aka
like
Mama
that.
Duck, would hear Durk play the song in late 2020, she would hop on social media to point out how Durk was monetizing her son's death, whilst also mentioning how Lil Durk had not been mentioning FBG Duck while he was alive, seemingly unaware of just how far back the animosity between these two goes.
Now he wanna get high. He about to get high like Duck. Durk.
He hurt V-Roy.
Well, he better take that who made the V-Roy gone, not my mother son, cause he ain't do it. Remember they had a song together. Remember they had their differences. Study one for the industry. This is proof. Y'all really showing. Y'all rich out mixing in my mother son. Y'all rich out mixing in Tuka. Show your craft. Do something else besides this and music. Show mother that you really could go pop like my son was trying to do. He was trying to cross over. Yo, sitting up here mixing in somebody who ain't getting too about you. He was right. You probably did Illuminati him. You probably did send him to get body. Now you study this and my son. And it's Christmas. Beautiful Christmas. That don't make no sense. How y'all used to be as one. Y'all got y'all ass in the industry and blackball all the GDs. Trying to well, I'ma just keep that shit real. Don't make no sense. Why is this man mixing in my son? He never did it while he was alive. And if he did do it, he sneak this and do it. He sneak this and do it.
Bro, Mama Duck was really y'all don't fuck with it. Bro, she was stepping for Duck, bro. I remember at this time, bro, she was like not playing around, man. Like everything,
now
bro.
You're so freely. You can say my son.
They was never cool with each other. They was never cool. I don't know what backstory she got, because she probably seen, all of them probably play together as kids. Granted, they lived very close to each other. Probably when they was like 5, 6 years old, but and then a lot of them went to the same high school. So I don't know what their personal relationship was. But yeah, I feel like if I was Duck, if Duck really got that $2 million deal, I would have got the fuck up out of Chicago. I would have got up out of Chicago. Me and my moms, we getting out of Chicago. We moving to somewhere, any fucking where, bro. You got the money to. I don't understand why niggas gotta stay. It's nothing you gotta prove staying in Chicago. That could have prevented it. If anything, they probably would have ran into Duck. They probably would have, Von and Duck probably would have had to throw the ones, but they could have, he had the money to get up out of there, bro. He had the money.
His name, he knocked your out, baby. Go out to the mother who got your sick. You feeling like us. We ought to unite and show these or whatever the case may be. You coming for the wrong baby.
The dissing would continue only a few months later on OTF's group album Loyal Bros, which would interestingly feature the infamous O-Block chain on the cover. And in his verse for the song Dying to Hit 'Em, Durk would make another rather obvious reference to Duck getting killed outside the Dolce & Gabbana store, saying that the ops get dropped right at designer stores. In June 2021, a few months before O-Block members would be hit with the indictment, Lil Durk would release a joint album together with Atlanta rapper Lil Baby titled Voice of the Heroes, which would include the song Still Runnin' featuring Meek Mill. And in his verse, Lil Durk would rap several bars that seemed to insinuate people close to him being behind Duck's murder, as he would say how his team might have taken a few L's, but in Chicago, they're winning for sure, before making a poorly disguised reference to FBG Duck, which is only covered by the sound of a gunshot, whilst also mentioning how Duck had nowhere to go when he tried to run and failed ducking when the shooting started. Lil Durk would seemingly even enjoy making creative disses towards Duck in his personal life. In March 2022, one of the world's most famous country music stars, Morgan Wallen, who had been collaborating with
his racist ass. Man, I'm saying. Yeah, Durk went to the A. I think Vaughn moved to Atlanta. So Duck probably not Atlanta. Duck probably shouldn't have moved to Atlanta, but move somewhere else. Move to Miami or Houston, Texas or some shit. What's good, Big Fred? Yeah, man.
Lil
Damn.
Durk would respond to one of Durk's posts with a bunch of duck emojis. As drill fans would see this, they would quickly check Morgan in the comments. After that, Morgan Wallen would publish an apology, saying that he had no clue that he was disrespecting the dead, and saying that Durk would always talk to him about going duck hunting.
Cap.
Actually, I won't put it past Durk, bro. This is how malicious he was. Durk was like, know what, Morgan? Let's go duck hunting. Nigga, you don't duck hunt, Durk. Damn. Durk knew what he was doing. But y'all, I know y'all seen the video of Morgan saying the N-word on camera. It was the hard ER too. I remember that. I remember it. Damn.
Saying that he had no clue that he was disrespecting the dead, and saying that Durk would always talk to him about going duck
Durk set
hunting,
him up with that
fans
one.
quickly realizing that Durk had seemingly been trolling Morgan Wallen behind the scenes, telling him that duck hunting was one of his favorite hobbies. Wallen, who is actually an avid duck hunter himself, had no idea what this dark alternative...
He probably really didn't have an idea. This was Durk just kind of messing around with him. He kind of set Morgan up for that one.
...meaning might have meant to Lil Durk. Fans would actually even make note of Durk's many references to FBG Duck, with memes being made joking about how hard Durk seemed to work on coming up with complicated and intricate ways to diss FBG Duck. However, in November 2022, Lil Durk would seemingly have a change of heart, as he would announce to Rolling Stone magazine that he was done dissing the dead. This announcement, interestingly, taking place only a few months after the murder of Lil Pab that Durk would eventually be indicted for. But anyway, in January 2023, FBG Duck's mother would comment on the case against his son's killers, saying how she was not going to be satisfied until everyone in the murder would face justice, before making a special emphasis on the word everyone. And in a now deleted comment, she would further specify how she found it unbelievable that Lil Durk wouldn't also get locked up for the murder. However, a few months later, she would seemingly change her mind, instead contacting Durk via Instagram to congratulate him on the anti-violence initiatives that he was working on in Chicago with his Neighborhood Heroes Foundation, and asking if Durk would also meet with her Mothers of Peace Foundation. But perhaps, rather unsurprisingly, it doesn't seem that Durk ever took her up on her offer, and it soon seemed that Mama Duck would have a change of heart again, taking aim at Durk with a vengeance. As in October 2024, FBG Duck's mother, together with the mother of his child and another man, the latter two who both got shot during FBG Duck's murder, would actually sue Lil Durk, King Von's estate, and several record labels who had done business with OTF for the wrongful death of FBG Duck. The rap media would report on this explosive wrongful death lawsuit. This civil case, filed by a law firm on behalf of the FBG Duck's family, alleges that Lil Durk, together with King Von and their affiliated groups OTF...
When did this come out? I've never seen this before. So she legitimately like filed this, like an actual... Damn.
On behalf of the FBG Duck's family, alleges that Lil Durk, together with King Von and their affiliated groups OTF and O-Block, conspired to kill Duck and then profit from his murder.
It's been 4 years since Chicago rapper FBG Duck was killed, and his mother's pain is still raw.
Not a day goes by that I don't think about him and the life that was taken from him.
FBG Duck, whose real name was Carlton Weekly, was gunned down on the Gold Coast by a group of masked men as he waited to enter the Dolce & Gabbana store August of 2020. His girlfriend, Cache Williams, and another man also wounded in the attack. They joined Weekly's mother in filing a lawsuit Wednesday, alleging rap superstar Lil Durk had a hand in the gang-related killing, wanting to take out Weekly. Their years-long rivalry playing out in a series of violent drill rap songs.
Our complaint law lays out that...
Bro, I've never seen this before. I never knew that this was like an actual lawsuit.
$100,000 bounty was placed on the life of FBG Duck to have him killed.
The lawsuit names a wide-ranging list of defendants, including Lil Durk, his record label, Only the Family, or OTF, and other larger labels that partnered with OTF, like Sony and UMG Interscope.
The lawsuit would make several...
So this must be like a... I mean, this ain't no... like a civil lawsuit? So did she want money from this, or... like just trying to... Bro, this is
partnered
crazy.
with OTF, like Sony and UMG Interscope.
Damn. It's crazy she be acting like that because she used to be with all the bullshit. That's facts. People said that Duck knew something wasn't right and was trying to go out the back of the store, but they didn't let him. I do remember some of the details of that. I do. I remember some of the details of that. It's crazy how long them boys was beefing and waited till they was all up to go out like this. That's wild. Actually, bro, when you really think about it, bro, niggas become millionaires and y'all out here trying to kill each other, bro. It's so wild. And it shows just how much they really allegedly really hated each other. Like, this is all still alleged, but like, it is crazy to see millionaires crash out like this, man. Because I know if I got a problem with a nigga, I get blood was shed by it, bro. But if I'm a millionaire, multi-millionaire, and I'm providing a better life for my kids, bro, I'm gonna let shit go. Cause killing a nigga that probably took out my homeboy or whatever, getting a revenge, bro, that's not gonna change the facts. It's not gonna bring my partner back. But what it will do is put me in a fucked up situation to either get killed myself or get thrown in prison. Now my kid's without a father. You gotta think about the bigger picture of things, bro. You gotta think about the bigger picture, bro. Like, it's crazy to crash out as millionaires, man.
Scope.
The lawsuit would make several serious claims about Durk and OTF, which in light of Durk's recent criminal charges could be incredibly damning for him financially, such as claiming that OTF is actually the media outpost of the O-Block criminal organization, and that prior to being incorporated as a music label, OTF was actually a collective of gangs consisting of O-Block 600, Lamron, THF, and other Black Disciple sets, as well as saying that OTF, the label, had acted as a conglomerate for these street gangs and a hub for their activity. The suit would then claim that OTF, the label, knew, or should have known, that the gang members that they had signed and employed were engaging in acts of serious violence and criminal activity, one of the prime examples being King Von himself, who the lawsuit would claim had taken part in robberies, assaults, and batteries in the presence of Lil Durk, with this being a probable reference to the 2019 incident in Atlanta, where Durk and Von were charged with attempted murder. One of the key claims of the lawsuit would seemingly be that Durk and Von had directly taunted FBG Duck before and after his death, and that the goal of this taunting was to expand the brand of OTF and to further the criminal enterprise of O-Block. Perhaps most damningly, the suit also claimed that Lil Durk and his brother D-Thang knew about the alleged $100,000 bounty that Von had put on Duck, and that D-Thang facilitated the events that led to Duck's murder, and that Lil Durk, King Von, and the O-Block 6 entered into agreements with each other to orchestrate the wrongful death of Duck to promote their commercial interests in selling music. These are some serious allegations, but whether or not they'll be able to actually prove this in court is another matter. Some of the claims, particularly the claims about the music, might be a little problematic, given the fact that there had been a lot of dissing between both FBG Duck and Lil Durk and Von, a beef which was very much a two-way street when they were all alive, something that both sides had engaged in for around a decade. In fact, you could even make the argument that FBG Duck not only started the dissing between him and Lil Durk, but also made the more vicious diss song, calling out numerous dead rivals from the BD side of the war, and obviously profiting from it too.
Literally, like, it's kind of like the pot calling the kettle black or whatever the saying is, man. Like, both sides said some real, like, fucked up shit. You could say both sides profited off of this shit. Damn. Bro, how do I have an ad in my stream? That's crazy. I don't even know. So I still don't think they're gonna be guilty. It's too much of like you can't prove a lot of these claims in this lawsuit that she put out. This is all just assuming things. Like I don't think you can prove any of this. Real video about the Jacksonville beef. Facts. I fuck with Traveler Ross, man. He do make some good ass docs, bro. Damn. Both sides got notable from this. Like when they first started, it was all eating. And that's the thing though. It's like if the judge actually, you know, took her side, took Mama Duck's side, and it kind of be like hypocrisy. Like, nigga, you got a $2 million label deal off of making the song about sliding. Like, I'm not saying it's right, but
This song, calling out numerous dead rivals from the BD side of the war, and obviously profiting from it too. But then again, FBG Duck is dead, and Lil Durk is still alive, and there's a big difference between diss songs and bullets. But on the other hand, OTF should probably have no less obligations than any other large media company. For example, what if it would turn out that CNN had hired some serious criminals to work for them, and knowingly allowed their employees to murder people so that they had a constant supply of viral news clips, allowing them to rake in millions of dollars?
Bro, that's kind of extreme, bro.
Probably safe to say that such a media company would not only get sued, but there's a fair chance to say that they would lose and people would go to prison. However, for now, it remains to be seen what, if anything, will come of this lawsuit. But the connection between FBG Duck's murder and Lil Durk seems to be something that's more than a coincidence. What is clear though, is that the murder of FBG Duck was only the first of many that have now been connected to Lil Durk, and the following year in 2021, before the arrest of those responsible for Duck's murder, Lil Durk would end up experiencing a death of someone very close to him, someone who was allegedly involved in that murder of FBG Duck, his brother D-Thang, a loss which Durk took incredibly personally, and according to online rumors and recent paperwork, incited Durk to put money in the street to get revenge, money that would apparently lead to not just one, but 3 people losing their lives.
Yeah, Durk allegedly crashed out. That was like, Durk lost a lot of people, but these allegations of what Durk is going through right now, I feel like the D-Thang thing, it allegedly was like the final fucking straw right there, man. Damn. Man.
Dante Banks Jr., known to his family as Booney and to fans of his brother Lil Durk as D-Thang, was born on September the 15th, 1989. According to their mother's memoir, D-Thang was in many ways the polar opposite of his brother Durk, who was known as a wild child. However, D-Thang also had a short temper, which would often get him involved in fights, and as he grew older, he would also begin to spend a lot of time with older guys from the block, who were hanging out near their home on the corner of 72nd and Green, this area being associated with a local gang known as Dog Pound. Durk was seemingly always close with the Dog Pound crew, but likely due to his closest friends being from Lamron and Tay-Town, he would also spend more time in that area, despite living in the Dog Pound's hood.
Man, what block we on, Joe? Where we at?
77 Green.
What's happening right now, man? What's good, man?
Billy D birthday, man. My cousin, shit, out here getting it.
Everybody out here?
Yeah, man. And it's a big drill out here, man.
It's a big drill?
Big drill.
When I be seeing like old footage like this, man, it's like some Museum of American Museum artifacts right here, man. Like, this shit is some classic footage right here. Damn. So there's just too much circumstantial evidence and shit add up. Yeah, that's facts. Thought he would have crashed out from Newski. Yeah, I thought so too. Like Newski being, you know, his blood cousin and shit. Yeah, the D-Thang thing, because Durk looked up to D-Thang. D-Thang was like his idol. And Durk take me as a type, he don't look up to a lot of niggas. Like, Durk actually looked up to. Oh, this was Zach TV. Oh man, RP my guy Zach TV, man. Whoa, bro. Every time somebody pull out the toys, man. Zach TV was a fucking legend, man. Damn, I forgot niggas got Zach, bro.
Everybody out here?
Yeah, man. And it's a big drill out here, man.
It's a big drill?
Big drill.
Where y'all from, man?
Boy.
Where y'all from, fam?
This dog down here, man. I'm kind of wrong, but I'm
D-Thang wasn't the only one in Durk's family tree who was claiming Dog Pound, as his late cousin and OTF artist Newski, who was seemingly very close with Durk and D-Thang throughout his childhood, would also claim this set, while also being closely affiliated with another set called Face World 079. Even the music video for Durk's first nationwide hit, This Ain't What You Want, was filmed in the Dog Pound's hood, as can be seen from the street sign of Green Street at the beginning of the video. Growing up, D-Thang would have 2 best friends, Chino and SB, who were both from the eastern side of the south side, with at least Chino allegedly being part of the THF 46 gang set located in the so-called low end. After graduating from high school, D-Thang would move to Iowa together with Chino and SB for work, but while being there, Durk would begin to send them songs that he was making, such as the track Lamron Wasted, which would begin to garner attention in Chicago, as SB would later explain during a DJU interview. He would be the one to tell Durk to move away from simply freestyling his lyrics and shouting out all his friends and affiliated sets to actually making more meaningful lyrics that people from all over could relate to.
After high school, me, D-Thang, and Chino had moved to Iowa. You know what I'm saying? We was out there hustling with the, you know, the work, whatever, you know, just hustling weed. Same time, you know, I'm always not only stay in the streets, but I'm a corporate too, so I get a gig, you know what I'm saying, a little supervisor job at a plant, you know what I'm saying, so I'm hustling and working, you know what I'm saying, doing both. So we out there around, you know, just chilling. We went to Iowa, you know, go out there hustling and then working. So I never forget, Durk would start sending us songs. You know what I'm saying? Him and his homie Isaac, they were sending us records. I'm like, damn, this is really dope. I'm like, damn, you really got this. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't even Lil Durk, he was Tay-Tay still, you know what I'm saying? So he finally shot a video with Reggie, Status TV, That's his cousin, you know what I'm saying, Reggie. And the video was wasted. It's probably still on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? So it's wasted. So that started going up. Like, you know what I'm saying? It started doing good. Like, not even really doing YouTube videos like that yet.
Right.
So bro put it and it just started going up. And you know, so he want to do music for real. He want to do this seriously. So we moved back. You know, we was going back and forth, still hustling, you know, getting money to fund this. We moved back and really started doing this serious. And then before you know it, like over just progressing, he kept recording records. I used to be on this like, you know, he used to always want to shout his guys out, shout everybody from the hood, the lamb, you know. Now he's always telling like, blood, the world don't know these. It's cool, shout these out, but you got
blood. The world don't know these niggas.
Start making real music, start having real songs. Like, I'm tired of every song hearing about your guys.
And after Durk's...
Bro, that was like Chicago's thing though, man. They shout out they niggas, man. Man, facts. Zach used to be deep in the trenches, man. Facts. He went, no matter what war zone it was, Zach TV was there with his camera and everything.
Career would begin to truly flourish between 2011 and 2012. Durk would get D-Thang, Chino, and SB and invite them all to join his musical venture, and the four would start the OTF label, something that was actually documented in a noisy documentary that covered the come-up of these young music moguls. Unfortunately, almost since the start, OTF would experience some major setbacks. In May 2014, only a few days after signing his deal with the label, Durk's cousin Newski, aka Nunu, real name MacArthur Swindle, would be gunned down in Chicago. And as was the custom at the time, DJ Academics would soon report on Newski's death in his highly sarcastic style as part of his War in Chirac YouTube series.
It's your boy DJ Academics. Restart the first 48 clock. Start pressing up RIP t-shirts because I gotta ask, is there...
That is a wild fucking statement to start a fucking video. What do you say? Start pressing up the RIP t-shirts. Bro, Act was crazy, man. Yeah, facts. Newski was gonna be, I said this in the last video, Newski was gonna be what Von was gonna be too. Newski and Von, like, their potential was crazy. But I think Newski was more like, I don't know how to describe it. They was both really good rappers. Von was a great storyteller, but Newski, when it came to like bars and shit, Newski was that nigga for real. LA, that's another one too, man. Yeah, I saw the video of Charlotte coming back. I think she gonna win the Rumble. Yeah, Newski was gonna be a star,
his
bro.
War in Chirac YouTube series.
It's your boy DJ Academics. Restart the first 48 clock. Start pressing up RIP t-shirts because I gotta ask, is there heaven for a Chirac savage? It is with great sadness, great shock, great disbelief that I have to announce that OTF Nunu has been caught lacking at the mall and is now deceased. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please be warned, the following story is very graphic in detail and the involved is at maximum levels.
Following Newski's passing,
Newski LA, if I had to rank them, Newski LA and Von. Damn. If I had to rank between Newski LA and Von, so you got Newski number 1, and then LA, then Von. Shit. I just feel like we ain't heard enough from Newski, but the shit that I did hear was tough. I think they all excel like their own way. Yeah, I for sure need to. Yeah, AK crazy, bro. Said Von, LA, and Newski. Dog, because Von was a great storyteller. LA Capone had the swag, though. He had the swag. Newski had the bars. Damn. That's hard, bro. I can't even. Can't even rank them. I think it was less of a part when they announced the return. It might, honestly. But I think they still gonna go crazy. It's Royal Rumble type shit. Newski delivery and bars was tough. That's facts. If we talking just like rap, I say Newski, Von, LA. If we talking like the rap shit.
some of his friends would begin to call themselves Newski Gang or Newski World in his honor. Many of these friends seemingly residing particularly in the Face World 079 hood. Newski's killer has never been caught, but online drill detectives have commonly held one man in particular responsible, this being 051 Melly, one of the most infamous people in drill music history. While practically being from different sides of the South Side, Durk being from Lamron and Melly being from 051 Young Money, Durk had ultimately gotten involved in a serious beef with Melly's set through Lamron's affiliated sets, such as 600, who were in a deadly beef with 051 at the time. There'd also been some people killed in the dispute between Lamron and 051 even before Newski's passing, with a Lamron member called OJ allegedly having been involved in the murder of an 051 member called Fathead, together with 600 members in 2012, while 051 on the other hand had allegedly killed Durk's good friend and a member of Lamron called Lil Rob in 2013. Melly's friend and 051's top rapper, Lil Mark, would also directly diss Lamron and Tay-Town in his March 2014 remix of Durk's song Competition, titled No Competition, rapping how he was smoking Tasky Pack, whom Tay-Town was named after, as well as Lil Rob, before saying that he's 300k and die L's, with L of course standing for Lamron. Only days after dropping the diss song, Lil Mark would be tragically killed at a bus stop, allegedly by Lil Durk's friends, one of these rumoured to have been King Von himself. And after
then Durk went to the bus stop, bro. Crazy, man. That's crazy, man. I think Alexa Bliss coming back. I wouldn't be surprised she won a Rumble either. Rondo number 9 was tough too. Rondo was tough. Facts. Rondo was fucking tough. Rondo was more like a street dude though, right? Rondo wasn't a rapper first though. Like his antics with the rocket launcher and shit. Like he was more like a street dude. I like the Rondo and C-Day song. That shit was tough. Oh, My City and 2K would be crazy. That would be insane.
After this, Durk would diss Lil Mark in 600 rapper E-Day's remix to the song War, saying how he was smoking on him. Durk would also film a highly disrespectful video of himself at that very bus stop where Mark had been killed. Newski had also gotten into an online beef with Melly's good friend and Durk's former friend Mubu Crump, who had a bitter falling out with OTF sometime in 2013. And following Newski's death, Crump would film himself at Newski's death site, even saying that he was at the scene with Newski's killer, making
he can't go live now. What was the lyric that Durk said about Crump, bro? Said he was on his live night, bro. I can't even remember the lyrics right now. I listen to that song a lot too, man. Yeah, Rondo ain't really give a fuck about rap. That nigga was stepping. Call my nigga number 9.
Death, Crump would film himself at Newski's death site, even saying that he was at the scene with Newski's killer, making many believe that this person was indeed Melly.
I mean, Newski. They left his right here. I'm with the did. He don't want to be on camera though.
Less than a year after Newski's death, OTF would suffer another major blow, as OTF Chino, real name Uchenna Aguina, would be gunned down in March 2015, while sitting in his car outside of a fast food spot in the 8400 block of Stony Island Avenue, after he had taken part in an anti-violence event. Newski and Chino's deaths were devastating for D-Thang, as he would often let his followers know on social media. Chino's murder also remains unsolved, but once again, the same two people, Melly and Crump, would be associated with the hit, with Crump being the one to diss Chino the hardest, again going to the murder location and asking the cashier at the food shop if they had an order for Newski, calling his meal of choice the Chino Burger.
Hey, y'all got that order for Newski? Chino Burger. Chino Burger.
Meanwhile, only a few days after Chino's murder, Melly would tweet a tribute to his fallen friend Lil Mark, together with a cryptic line that indicated that Melly had gotten some kind of get back for Mark. Melly was also fond of dissing both Newski and Chino on social media, and he too would join in on Crump's burger joke during one of his Instagram lives.
Just let me a piece. Yeah, Chino Burger, that's what they said.
Crump would continue dissing Newski and Chino, sometimes aiming his words directly at D-Thang.
Why was Crump going so hard though? Cause he used to be cool with niggas though. Damn.
Crump would continue dissing Newski and Chino, sometimes aiming his words directly at D-Thang, commenting under his tribute post to Chino in 2017 how D-Thang was the reason that Chino was dead, while Lil Durk was the reason that Newski was dead. Clearly, Durk and D-Thang were big targets for their enemies in the streets who had already killed people close to both of them. According to Durk and D-Thang's mother, D-Thang himself would end up getting shot twice between 2016 and 2017, but little is known about these incidents. Fortunately, he would seemingly survive both events with relatively little injuries. Mubu Crump, however, wouldn't be so lucky, Melly, and in May 2018 he would meet his end as he was gunned down in front of a house party during a drive-by shooting, where Melly would allegedly also get hit but survive. The killers have never been caught, but the most popular theory online, surprisingly, points to the rivals of OTF, particularly a member of the STL EBT set called Can't Get Right, aka Get Right or Man Man. This theory being further boosted by the claim that another STL member, the infamous shooter Wooski, was allegedly later caught with Crump's murder weapon. However, this claim has seemingly been debunked by the YouTuber Loyalty and Betrayal.
Let's just be clear. Wooski was never arrested with a gun. He was arrested because he shot somebody in the leg twice who didn't want to press charges or whatever. But he was not arrested with the gun. The gun, the shell casings that they found, that they said with that shooting, that they are, I guess, assuming go with that incident, being how the guy moved, the gun obviously moved. So I'm not sure how they matched that up to say that belonged to that. But it matched the gun that was found 10 days later after Wooski was arrested. So Wooski didn't get arrested with the gun. So all those videos have false information.
After Durk's recent arrest for the murder for hire plot,
but they still think it was somebody from STL EBT that did it then. But it says Zoo. Damn. Yeah, those matches would be crazy in that game. Damn. So this thing is Zoo. So I was about to say, because if that, like, Durk Ops allegedly took Crump out, that'll be crazy, bro.
All those videos have false information.
After Durk's recent arrest for the murder for hire plot, some Reddit detectives have raised a question whether Crump's murder could have also been organised by Durk, with one Redditor pointing particularly to Durk's December 2020 song called Red Man, where Durk first speaks about his pain after the death of Newski before rapping a now jaw-dropping line where he seems to predict ending up in federal prison in 10 years' time. Durk then mentions how people are asking him what he'll do about someone whose name is bleeped out, but what sounds like he could be mentioning Crump, to which Durk simply responds by saying the other person is already dead. However, these lyrics are vague at best and hardly evidence of anything other than Durk's impressive ability to foresee his future in federal custody. Unfortunately, only a few months after the death of Mubu Crump, Durk would experience yet another loss that would hit very close to home, as his cousin Darnell Banks, better known as OTF Baby D, was killed in a shooting in the far south side of Chicago in October 2018. But this wasn't the whole story, as Baby D was not alone at the time of the shooting, but allegedly with D-Thang, whose age at the time matches that of one of the victims reported by local news, as well as another 32-year-old man. The trio would reportedly get
Why was D-Thang staying in Chicago though, man? Like, he should have been out there moving with Durk. I don't know if I know he had a club out there, but they clearly been trying to get D-Thang for a while. Damn. We're seeing Zoo and Melly. Yeah, I ain't see that live. Yeah, he said what happened to Crump. Like, he said Crump, and then they cut off the rest of the name. Damn, bro. Yeah, D-Thang should have got up out of there. He should have got up out of there.
Is that of one of the victims reported by local news.
Is this what, the second hit?
32-year-old man. The trio would reportedly get ambushed in a McDonald's parking lot shortly before 3 AM, all of them sustaining multiple gunshot wounds, but thankfully, D-Thang would end up surviving once again, together with the 32-year-old man. In her memoir, D-Thang and Durk's mother would confirm him being one of the victims of the shooting, writing how this had been one of the most serious out of all of the shootings that D-Thang had survived, and how Baby D's death would leave him heartbroken. Baby D's murder would go unsolved, but Melly's name would once again begin to ring in online speculations, as photos would begin to circulate of one of Baby D's cousin wearing a Long Live Baby D shirt with a large F Melly text boldly printed on the front, together with a picture of him. Durk would also...
this nigga had Melly's face on the shirt, nigga. What? I don't know who was more of a... Bro, between Melly and Vaughn, bro, these niggas is crazy, man.
Shirt with a large F Melly text boldly printed on the front, together with a picture of him. Durk would also seemingly begin to diss Melly often in his songs following Baby D's death, like saying how there is one special op that they haven't killed yet in his July 2019 song Like That, or even specifically addressing the person who killed his cousin in his August 2019 song Die Slow, this likely being a reference to either Newski or Baby D, while seemingly giving an order to his guys to make sure that he dies slowly. Shockingly, exactly 1 month after the release of this song, 051 Melly would be killed on the south side of Chicago while while attending a house party at the 6100 block of St. Lawrence Avenue, this being in the hood of the Jaro City and Taekwon World sets. But despite the peculiar timing, Durk would seemingly have nothing to do with Melly's death, as his killer would allegedly turn out to be someone with a personal vendetta against Melly, a Taekwon World member called 007 Nate, real name Nathaniel Hicks, whose house Melly had allegedly shot up leading up to the killing. However, the evidence against Nate would ultimately not meet the burden of proof beyond reasonable doubt, and despite the facts that he was apparently identified as the shooter by multiple witnesses and seen entering the house with a gun and then fleeing the house after the shooting, and being eventually caught a few days later with the murder weapon still on him, it didn't stick. Now, if that's not a sign that you can get away with murder in Chicago.
Bro, he had the weapon on him. He was identified in the lineup. They saw him going into the... Wow. So Melly was trying to get Durk. Facts. If Durk moved around Chicago more, like, that would have been tragic, man. Melly, I think Melly hated Durk the most out of everybody. That probably Vaughn. He trolled and self-incriminated more on the internet. Man.
And seen entering the house with a gun and then fleeing the house after the shooting, and being eventually caught a few days later with the murder weapon still on him, it didn't stick. Now, if that's not a sign that you can get away with murder in Chicago, I really don't know what is. But anyway, despite having nothing to do with Melly's death, Durk would seemingly keep dissing Melly in his songs, like rapping a bar asking how someone can get killed while partying in his December 2020 song Refugee, and rapping in his intro song for the January 2021 album The Voice that since the person who killed his cousin is dead, he can finally rest, as well as seemingly calling Melly his favorite op, who's now dead, in the August 2020 song Bad Guys by the former OTF rapper Timo. D-Thang, on the other hand, would tweet in June 2020 how every op that ever shot him is now dead, and that he walks around with 50k in jewelry in his hood, with Chiracologists taking this to mean that Baby D's killer was now dead too. For D-Thang, the shooting that killed Baby D was a near fatal moment, and should have probably served as his final warning to get as far away from Chicago as possible. But unfortunately, this was not the case, as D-Thang would seemingly keep returning to his hometown time and time again, until finally in the summer of 2021, his luck would indeed run out. Partying in the city of Harvey, which is in the far south side of the greater Chicago area. He was reportedly attending a strip club called Club O, located in the middle of the city's industrial district. According to the Chicago Sun-Times, who would seemingly confuse D-Thang to be a rap artist like his brother, they would explain that the shooting that killed D-Thang involved multiple guns, and even a police officer who was nearby when the shooting started, an officer who would actually get hit in their thigh during the chaos. Unfortunately, D-Thang would be shot in the head, and he was pronounced dead at the scene. Another OTF member called Trail had seemingly been at the club with D-Thang, and he too would get shot during the altercation, but would survive, later posting a thank you message to the people who had been concerned about him, as well as paying tribute to D-Thang and saying that he put his life on the line for him. Soon following D-Thang's death, there would be another deadly shooting, only an 8-minute drive away from the club, which the police would consider to be a possible retaliation, the victim in this shooting being a 39-year-old named Sanika Price. But there has since seemingly been no updates about this get-back theory. From here, the media and fans would find out about D-Thang's death, and Reddit would light up with questions and theories, with many wondering why someone as famous and wanted as D-Thang, who had so much at stake with so many enemies, would risk going out partying at such a risky location. The internet, these theories revolving particularly around Dog Pound's beef with a set called Dump Street, also known as Gutter Gang or Nate Block, sets that are part of the so-called No Love City alliance formed between numerous majority gangster disciple sets around Inglewood. As mentioned earlier in this video, No Love sets have been beefing with the BD sets from Inglewood like Lamron and Dog Pound since at least the early 2010s. Redditors would speculate that D-Thang's murder was get back for the 2013 murder of a man called 8-Ball, real name Marcus Rush, who was allegedly part of a set called CMB or Crazyville. This set having years-long ties with Dump Street, while having had at least a decade-long beef with the Dog Pound.
They waited damn near a decade for the get back. If that's the case, that's crazy.
Ties with Dump Street, while having had at least a decade-long beef with the Dog Pound. D-Thang himself having dissed the set.
My bitrate, it was at 7,000. I put it down to 6,500. It's normally good at 7,000. Hold on, let me see. Yeah, I put it down. Yeah, 6,500 right now. Had it at 7K though.
All the way back in 2014, with the wildest theories even claiming that it was D-Thang himself who had actually killed 8-Ball, while the most attuned drill whisperers would reveal that many members of 8-Ball's set had allegedly been posting tributes to him right after D-Thang's murder, with some of these tributes still seemingly being available online. However, many would question the rumors about D-Thang being a killer, as he had always presented himself as more of a businessman than a bona fide shooter. Although
bro, I don't think D-Thang was a killer, bro. I think he was more mature with this shit, bro. I think he was really like a businessman. I don't think he was like really getting shit like that. Yeah, I might have to start doing it at 6K. I might.
Would change his Twitter handle to Dthang 2 times in 2017. Now, the number and X combination typically symbolizes in the drill culture the number of bodies a person had caught, with the other Dthang from the 600 set using the same combination to seemingly claim 3 bodies. But whether Dthang himself had been behind the murder or not, he had certainly been dissing both CMB and Dump Street, aka Gutter Gang, before his death, making sure that he still had enemies in his hometown. Dthang had seemingly also indicated that the younger generation of CMB and Dump Street had been dissing Lil Durk and OTF, saying that he doesn't even know them and that all his ops are dead already. And after Dthang's death, CMB would seemingly return the favor by posting slick comebacks, as one member would post on his Facebook the morning after how Chief Keef had been the smart one to leave Chicago with all his friends, as they were all still alive, while another member would post how the BDs might run the industry, but the GDs still run the streets. This was followed a few days later with another member posting how they'll get into it with anyone, together with an 8-ball emoji, while another member would post how all their ops are dead. Meanwhile, some Redditors have claimed that Dthang was killed because he had been bragging about putting money on Duck's head while being in the club that was frequented by the GDs. But whether Dthang's murder was connected to the war that had been going on around his old neighborhood for years, or to something else. Not long after his death, this war would seemingly continue to claim lives, as on July the 10th, 2021, 2 men would be sprayed with bullets during a fatal incident at a Clark gas station in Inglewood. These men turned out to be a 20-year-old named Jalen Anderson and a 33-year-old called Jamie Hawkins, who were better known in the streets as Gutter Gang J-Ski and Gutter Gang Oil. Paperwork posted online by the watermark enthusiast Chusky the Real would reveal that a Jeep Cherokee had parked in the gas station for several minutes, but when Anderson and Hawkins had pulled into the gas station, at least one occupant of the Jeep would begin shooting at them before the car would flee the scene, and a search for its license plates would reveal that it was a stolen vehicle. Curiously, only a few days after this double murder, Lil Durk would make a cryptic post to his Instagram story with a picture of his brother, together with the caption, "Do it for Dthang," as the post would be shared on Reddit soon after. One Chiraccologist would comment that they had heard that OTF had indeed gotten that get back, while another commenter would identify J-Ski and Oil as the reason for Durk making the post. Around the same time as Lil Durk would make this post, Dthang's baby mother would also make an Instagram story with a picture of Dthang, this time accompanied by the song Lick Back by the rapper ESTG, a song that essentially describes the need for always getting your revenge. These posts would prompt many Redditors to believe that OTF was indeed behind this gas station hit, but violence would continue to follow Durk from here, and just a month after his brother's passing and a few days after the gas station shooting, a strange shootout episode would take place at Durk's home in Brazelton, Georgia, where unidentified invaders would break in with unknown motives in the middle of the night. Apparently,
this whole thing, when they broke into Durk's house, I felt like this was like a backdoor situation. I think this was a backdoor situation. India, yeah. Come on now. I'll get my gun to Indy before I put it in your hands. I feel like this was an indoor job, bro. He lived in a gated community. I don't even know what Durk's house looks like. We can point out some rappers who we know what their house look like. I don't even know what Durk's house looked like. He lived in a gated community, bro. I feel like this was somebody around him. This was for sure an inside job, man. For sure. Man, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know if it was somebody he once like fell out with, maybe an artist he dropped or whatever. I got a theory, but I'm not gonna say it though. I got a theory of who could have had something to do with it. I ain't gonna say it though. I ain't gonna say it. I'll let y'all say it if you might be thinking what I'm thinking, but I'm not gonna say it.
Apparently Durk and his partner India would reportedly fight back by shooting at the intruders, but seemingly everyone would survive the shootout without any serious injuries, but the intruders would actually escape the scene before the police arrived, and at this point there's been very little information about what this whole incident was about. If you ask me, timing is incredibly suspicious, and may well have been in retaliation for those 2 murders that followed Dthang's death. After the home invasion, some months would pass, but in October, rapper Nardo Wick would release his smash hit, Who Wants Smoke?
Boy, y'all crazy, bro. Y'all crazy, bro. Yeah, y'all crazy, man. Says best friend don't even know where he live. Yeah, I don't even know. I don't even know. It's definitely somebody close to Durk. Definitely somebody close to Durk. Oh, for sure. We gonna tap in. The only game I'm paying attention to today is the Detroit Lions game. That's the game. But I need to I gotta get my grind on the stream, bro. Yeah, man.
featuring an all-star group of features, including 21 Savage, G Herbo, and Lil Durk, together with a music video directed by the music video prodigy Cole Bennett. In his verse, Nardo Wick would rap a funny line about how he even pumps gas with his gun so his ops can't surprise him, something which Durk would then reference in his own verse, but adding how listeners better do like Nardo says, because people will die while pumping gas, which seemed to be yet another reference to the murders of J-Ski and Oil at the gas station.
Bro,
this was followed about a week later with Durk's song Pissed Me Off, which he would begin by paying tribute to his brother and seemingly saying they got back for him. Durk would then rap several bars about his need for a revenge after losing people close to him, even specifically mentioning how he can not feel happy until he gets back for his bro, something that seems to say a lot about his mindset at the time. Durk would then even directly reference the shootout that happened in his home, which makes me think he's letting us know that this was indeed connected to those cases. However, so far, Durk's rumored hints about the alleged get back for his brother.
Bro. I got the game right here, but we also gonna do some stream too, man. We also gonna do some streaming shit too, man. Man, I ain't trying to get my Twitch deleted, bro. I heard they different. The NFL and they copyright, the WWE and they copyright. Nah, I don't know. I'm good on that. I'm good on that.
Relatively vague compared to the self-snitching extraordinaires of modern-day drill music like Lil Jeff and Q50. But on the 27th of January 2022, the plot would thicken considerably as 24-year-old Stefan Mack was killed after leaving a youth peace center in the Roseland neighborhood, located in the far south side of Chicago. Before the tragedy would strike, Stefan, who was also known as Youngin, was visiting the youth center where he was reportedly an active participant. Meanwhile, a black Chrysler would enter the center's parking lot with two men waiting inside the vehicle for about 40 minutes, seemingly waiting for Stefan to exit the center. Then, at around 3 p.m, when Stefan would step outside and begin to walk towards his car, two masked men would exit the Chrysler and begin shooting at him, with Stefan attempting to flee by running in the opposite direction. One of the shooters, armed with a Ruger AR-556 semi-automatic rifle, would chase Stefan across the parking lot before shooting him from a distance, which would cause Stefan to collapse on the ground near train tracks, where the shooter would run up to him and finish the job. Shortly after, the youth center's security guard would step outside to find out what was causing the noise, which would prompt the second assailant to shoot him in the leg with a handgun. The shooters would then abandon the Chrysler in the parking lot and escape on foot. The security cameras capturing one of the assailants with a heavy build running away from the scene, and later that day, police would recover.
That nigga was fast walking. This nigga couldn't run. This was a fast walk.
The security cameras capturing one of the assailants with a heavy build running away from the scene, and later that day, police would recover the Ruger AR rifle from the backyard of a vacant residence located nearby. Sometime after Stefan's murder, Durk and an OTF member called Chug would once again make suggestive posts on their Instagram stories, both using the caption "for D-Thang," with Durk also using the name of his recent song, Aha, which at this point hadn't even been released yet, while Chug would refer to something being a sad case. Not long after, at the beginning of February, one Chiracologist would post these stories to Reddit, whilst also linking them to the murder of Stefan, who the poster claimed to be a member of the set Smashville 85th, whilst also allegedly having connections with the so-called Melly Way that's named in honor of 051 Melly, with some even claiming that Stefan was in fact Melly's cousin. Smashville is located around 85th Street in the Auburn-Gresham neighborhood in the far south side of the city, far away from the childhood stomping grounds of D-Thang and Durk in Inglewood. However, the set is affiliated with the Dump Street, aka Gutter Gang, from West Inglewood, who have been rumored to be behind D-Thang's murder. There weren't initially many theories about who were the two people behind the murder, but unbeknownst to the public at the time, the alleged killers were making sneaky references to their crimes on social media. For example, on the 15th of February, a man called Mike City AJ would post on his Facebook how his set had been spanking their ops so much that they're about to give up. As his name indicates, Mike City AJ has ties to a set called Mike City, or Mike Block, also known as Gator Gang, a BD set located on 86th and Morgan, which is named in honor of their fallen member Mike, who was killed in 2012. Lamron and Taytown have seemingly been affiliated with Mike City for at least a decade at this point, and AJ himself has clearly been close with Taytown members on social media for a while, even seemingly appearing in a March 2021 music video of TTE Day Day, who's one of Durk's oldest friends from Taytown. A YouTuber called Kenny Rogers, who claims to be from the same neighborhood, would open up about AJ's childhood and reputation in the streets, telling how AJ and other young'uns from Mike City were like sicarios, a private army for hire with a feared reputation, who would eventually get affiliated with OTF members such as Booney Mo.
Watch the and did what we did. You know, but AJ, they decided, like, they like scenarios, but when I say scenario, sicarios. You know what I'm talking about, like a private army for hire. You know what I'm talking about? Now, we warned them about that because when the guys came out there trying to connect and all that, like, no, we've been holding our own. What's like the, we know what y'all want. Y'all ain't finna use them. But, you know, the younger guys got into too many, you know, they wanted to make a name for themselves. They wanted to hang around because of their name and shit like that. But we was telling them, y'all bigger than them. Real talk. But AJ, yeah, was feared, and you can hire them to kill your cat if you wanted to, and not having somebody have your paperwork on the internet. Now you being affiliated with Booney Mo and OTF and all that other and doing that to allegedly Stephen Matt 051 cousin.
Indeed, on the 21st of February, less than a month after Stefan Mack's murder, Durk would drop his music video for the song Aha, which was filmed in Chicago. Later on, online detectives would notice that in one of the Instagram stories posted by people who were at the video shoot, you can see someone who looks a lot like Mike City AJ, showing that he was indeed possibly connected all the way to the very top of the OTF hierarchy. But what people would also notice were the rather revealing lyrics that Durk was dropping in the song. First, he would begin with a disclaimer saying how everything he's about to say is just entertainment and not real. Durk then mentions how his shooters have been sliding through their ops block, but the ops don't even know it, and that someone from the ops side got shot, and while Durk didn't claim it, he can show them proof. Durk would then seemingly be done with beating around the bush, as he would explicitly state how he's been heavy on the downers since D-Thang got killed, but they already got back for him, and that their ops know it, but they don't post on social media so the police don't find out. Durk would then seemingly change his mind about this all being just entertainment, as he would swear on his brother's life that everything he's speaking is facts and not just a diss. Durk would then end his first verse by saying how people might say that he's just a singer, so he won't kill anyone, he doesn't care what they think.
I got your folks hit. Damn. I'm gonna try. After this video, I'll try.
Because he got their friend shot. The hook of the song would even acknowledge that Durk's activities will put him in jail.
I'm gonna go up to the 15-minute mark, the 2-hour 15-minute mark, and I'm gonna try.
Rapping he's dropping locations and getting revenge, and that the feds will soon come. It seems that Durk was sending a lot of messages with this song, but likely only the people involved in these Chicago gang wars would truly understand. But what he was clearly putting out there for the whole world to see was that his brother D-Thang's death was still weighing heavily on his mind, and that for him, this in fact was not just entertainment. Meanwhile, in May 2022, a rapper from the Dump Street or Gutter Gang called GG Juju would release his song titled Don't Be a Fool, where he would seemingly diss D-Thang by rapping how he will not be searched when going to a club before mentioning how that is how a fool got killed, and saying that if people mention Gutter Gang, they're going to end up on the news. Juju would also seemingly diss Durk, saying how some people were always acting too tough on their songs and always rapping about switches and drakes, but that they got them too. This likely being a reference to Durk literally having a song titled Switches and Drakes. After this, some time would pass, but on the 6th of June 2022, exactly 1 year after D-Thang's passing, Durk would make another cryptic post on his Instagram story quoting lyrics about someone getting hit and how certain people are only known in the city because of their friends who got killed. But instead of signing the post with his usual moniker, The Voice, he would sign it this time as The Pump, which some internet sleuths would believe to be yet another sign that Durk was making a reference to the murders of J-Ski and Oil taking place at a gas station pump. Meanwhile, Durk's friend and OTF member Booney Mo would post a much clearer message simply stating F the dump, this seeming like a rather obvious reference to the Dump Street set. The following month in July, Durk and the rapper Lil Osama would release the song F My Cousin Part 2, and this time Durk wouldn't hold back one bit, rapping a direct threat to his ops that if they were even at the scene when his brother was killed, they're going to die too, before mentioning specifically his ops from the west, with Dump Street being located directly to the west of Taytown and Lamron, saying how 2 of their members died immediately after D-Thang's death. At this point, it seemed obvious that if Durk wasn't directly claiming the hit of J-Ski and Oil, he was at least dissing them openly. And then, in December, Booney Mo would release his single titled For Real, together with a lavish music video that was posted on Durk's YouTube channel. And in the song, Booney would repeat Durk's bar about 2 people dying the next day, whilst also seemingly referring to the shooting that killed D-Thang as fluky, which some believe supports the idea that D-Thang might not have even been killed on purpose and was in fact simply hit by a ricocheting bullet.
No, I think they was trying to get D-Thang for a while, man. For a while. Man, Durk, bro, I ain't gonna cap. I know the lyrics was crazy, bro, but I don't really be watching rappers' Instagram stories like that. But the way he was posting on his stories is crazy, man. Man, it's crazy.
This theory also being supported by the news report about the shooting, with the police describing how D-Thang was simply caught amongst a barrage of bullets. In April 2023, On a Couch TV would post a hood vlog with none other than Dump Street. But interestingly, they were also joined by the rapper 85th Lil Smoke, who just so happens to be from Smashville, the very hood where Stefan...
I thought I knew a lot of niggas in the Chicago drill shit. A lot of these niggas that he mentioned in this section, I have no idea who the fuck they are. Oil and all this, bro. Like, who?
They were also joined by the rapper 85th Lil Smoke, who just so happens to be from Smashville, the very hood where Stefan was allegedly from, showing that these sets were indeed very close with each other. In the comments of the video, one viewer would ask On a Couch TV to ask him about D-Thang, but he would reply, calling that viewer federal, before saying that he knew that they wouldn't answer questions about that anyway. But still, On a Couch would seize the moment and ask them about Durk, inquiring whether they considered Durk to be the voice of Chicago, which would surprisingly receive a rather cordial response from the crew, who say he's a good rapper, but he's not the voice of the streets, and that he can't stop the gang war.
So how y'all feel about Durk basically taking the title as the voice of the Chicago, like what he say was go on in the trenches?
No, shit, what you mean?
He can rap.
He can rap. I ain't lying. But voice of what trenches? Ain't nobody run. Nobody run. No, listen, bro.
He a good rapper.
You know, he can rap. He can sing. But voice, he run probably his side of town. All of them. But we ain't speaking.
He from that side of
He ain't doing rappers and everybody can relate to him.
Because he was basically saying, like, if somebody like him came down and wanted to bring peace in Chicago, like, it actually happened.
That's happened, man, because too much blood shit in the city.
Yeah, ain't nobody.
Like, he ain't gonna like it. You can come in your hood, could show what the want to it, nah, yeah, but you can't do that for you. You can't talk for everybody. You need to talk for you.
Meanwhile, Durk would keep hinting at the get back for D-Thang in his songs, like in the track Pellicoat that he would drop in May as part of his Almost Healed album, where he would once again rap how 2 people had died after D-Thang's murder. A few months later, on the death day of J-Ski and Oil, a member of a set called Melt Gang, who were affiliated with Dump Street aka Gutter Gang, would finally send a clear message back to Durk by posting an Instagram story with a caption that he was smoking on D-Thang. In response, a member of Faceworld 079 aka Newski Gang, who were affiliated with Dog Pound and close to Durk, would share a post about the murders of Oil and J-Ski to his Instagram profile, together with Lil Durk's Pellicoat song, and specifically the part of the song that says how 2 people died after D-Thang's death, while his very next post would say that Oil and J-Ski were his favourite people to smoke. The dissing between these two alliances had now gone far beyond small subliminal jabs to damn near federal public confessions. But things were about to get a lot more interesting, because in October 2023, Mike City AJ, real name Anthony Montgomery Wilson, together with another man called Marley, real name Preston Powell, would be charged with the murder of Stefan Mack. But this was no ordinary state charge, this was a federal charge. And this was no typical murder charge either, this was a murder for hire. Yes, murder for hire in 2023. As the feds would allege that AJ and Marley had been in contact with someone in another state who had promised them a reward for the murder of Stefan.
Wow.
Following these charges, AJ would be arrested and taken into custody, but Marley would seemingly make a run for it, with the FBI releasing a wanted poster for him, and even local news reporting on his attempt to avoid the law. At the time, it was already clear that the feds were holding any information regarding this case close to their chest, as the file docket for the case is full of sealed documents. But the reason for this would be revealed in December 2024, as the feds would suddenly unseal more documents related to the case in the lead up to Durk's detention hearing in the Lil Pab case, including an application for a search warrant in Texas, and more importantly, an affidavit in support of that application. This affidavit, which dates all the way back to April 2023, would reveal explosive information that the feds were indeed investigating Lil Durk's connection to the murder of Stefan Mack. The affidavit would provide numerous interesting details about Mack's murder.
If they actually link this, if they still use this, bro, this shit is crazy.
Including the fact that Mike City AJ had done a C-Day and left his phone at the crime scene, and that while at the crime scene, he had also been calling Marley by name. While after the murder, the two had been openly discussing their upcoming payment from Lil Durk, and after seeing...
So they probably newer people, or they trolling? Yeah, they was for sure trolling. Oh, man, don't remind me TikTok going away, man. Damn.
Receiving the payment, AJ had been bragging about it and claiming the hit on social media by posting himself with a big stack of cash together with the lyrics from Lil Durk's Aha song, with findings like these prompting Chiracologists online to joke how
no, he really picked the man. Allegedly, this is like the dumbest bro. You could have got John Wick or some shit, bro. Like this is insane. They making the feds job way too fucking easy, bro.
The dumbest assassins on earth to do the job. An employee of the youth center would also allegedly reveal to the feds that the killers had been tipped off about Mack's location by 2 brothers from a set called Risky Road, who seemingly knew Marley, aka Powell, as he lived in their hood at the time of the crime. But the paperwork would also reveal some interesting background information. For example, the feds would claim that Mack was not only affiliated with Smashville, but according to their informant, he was in fact the set's leader. Another informant, on the other hand, would claim that Lil Durk was offering money for the the murder of those responsible for his brother's death, and even for the murder of any gangster disciple in general. The same informant would also reveal that Dump Street had indeed been behind D-Thang's murder, and that Mac had been a close associate with a Dump Street member who the feds...
Bro, if these witnesses take the stand on this, if the state of Illinois decided to move forward with this, bro, this is crazy.
Referred to as Individual A. Individual A would turn out to be a man named Diamani Green, who had been arrested in December 2021 for an unrelated double murder, and who would be better known in the streets as Gutter Gang Puke, or simply GG Puke, as his rap name would be. Following the release of this paperwork, many would start to claim that GG Puke was in fact the Dump Street member responsible for the murder of D-Thang, although...
All right, I'm gonna stop right... Oh, we almost done with this little chapter. I just want to we gonna stop right at the murder FBG Cash, and then I'm
the feds would not explicitly make this connection in the paperwork, as they would simply state...
I'm gonna see if I can watch the NFL shit. I'm not gonna put it on stream, but if y'all can hear it,
according to their informant, D-Thang was killed by members, plural, of Dump Street, and that Puke, aka Individual A, was a close associate of Mac, not that Individual A killed D-Thang. However, to many, it would seem that the feds were heavily alluding to Puke being the one responsible for the murder and the reason why Mac was ultimately killed. It's also worth noting that the Chiracologist had been alluding to a locked-up rapper from the Dump Street being responsible for D-Thang's death even before the new paperwork, and after Puke's name would begin to circulate, the online sleuths would quickly uncover a 7-year-old Zach TV video showing Puke hanging out in Harvey, the very city where D-Thang would eventually be killed. Meanwhile, Lil Durk's music has continued to provide more insights into the events related to his brother's death. In early 2024, his song called Survivor, or I Did It Without You, was leaked online, the lyrics seemingly describing why Durk would eventually fall out with his old step Lamron, siding fully with the Tay-Town instead, as Durk would seemingly insinuate that Lamron had not tried to retaliate after D-Thang's death, and that if he catches any Dump Street members on Lamron's block, he's going to kill them and the Lamron members with them. Around the same time as this song would leak, Dump Street rapper GG Montana would post a snippet to his song where he appears to be taking shots at Durk, literally taunting him about D-Thang's murder while saying that they're beefing with real rap goofies. For now, there's no charges against Durk in the murder of Stephon Mack, and it seems that these documents were unsealed more in an effort to prevent Durk from getting bail on the Lil Pab murder case. Ultimately, only time will tell. They
already got the...
if he will end up going down for his brother too. But what's most interesting is that if Durk was indeed using his rap money to pay for his enemies to be killed in the streets, from here, his career would only continue to rise, and rather suspiciously, so too would the body count, as more and more of those people who Durk had issues with would wind up dead, with Durk never missing an opportunity to jump on the mic and brag about these murders for the whole world to hear.
Alright, we gonna stop right there. Let me see, let me write it down. Dog, this shit is crazy, man. Yeah, we about halfway through it.